Okay, so maybe I will say some words in German first and then we will start. Also, wir hatten gestern schon mal einen Talk mit Menschen aus der Ukraine oder die mit der Ukraine zu tun haben, über die Situation dort. Das machen wir heute auch wieder. Ich spare mir jetzt sämtliche weitere Anmoderationen. Mein Name ist Daniel Schulz, ist wahrscheinlich auch eingeblendet. Ich arbeite für das Ressort Reportage und Recherche. Ansonsten ist noch hier Anastasia Tikhomirova, die eine Kollegin ist, eine sehr geschätzte und aber auch für andere Medien schreibt, unter anderem bei sie bei Novaya Gazeta und bei der Jungle World. Ich habe es nicht falsch gesagt. Sie schreibt aber auch sozusagen für andere Medien. Und bei uns ist auch Elisabeth Smith, eine Regisseurin aus der Ukraine, die unter anderem den Film Scuola Nummer 3 gemacht hat, der auch bei der Berlinale, ich glaube 2018, den Jugendpreis gewonnen hat und auch sonst sehr umtriebig ist. Wir hatten noch einen Gast, der ist uns leider verloren gegangen, eine Kamerafrau, die in Kiew unterwegs ist. Wir gucken gleich mal, ob wir sie nicht wieder reinholen können, aber so lange starten wir schon mal, wie gesagt, und wir sprechen Englisch. Hello, Lisa. Maybe if you would try to describe the day that you have today. What are you doing? What is your situation?
I will start from yesterday. We and my family live in a small city near Kiev, 30 kilometers from Kiev, and we wake up at 5 a.m. from explosions from the sounds. Then in the day there were two more explosions. The rocket came to electricity station, and our airplane was shooted there also. So we decided to leave because I have a 5-year-old son. We were going through roads, village roads, to avoid big cities because almost every big city is bombed these 2 days. Vinnytsia, Uman, all the cities on our road. We had a night at our friend's house in the deep village in the center of Ukraine. It's a house of our friends filmmakers, and then we made documents so our child can go through the border. And today we're going to Chernivtsi, to the west of Ukraine, that is on the border.
Okay. Okay, I think the connection was lost a little bit, but I think can you hear me, Lisa? Because if not, then I would just tell, because we had...
we don't know our plan for tomorrow, but for today it's like this.
Okay, so it's sometimes hard. The connection is a little bit broken. So, but let me ask you, you're on the road between somewhere in the countryside, yeah? Or where are you now?
I'm on the road from the central Ukraine near Vinnytsia to Chernivtsi.
Mm-hmm. And what are your plans for the next days?
I don't know, because a lot depends on my family. So if I will have the chance to leave my child with my family, then me and my husband will come back to our friends to Kiev. If I will not have this chance, then I have to stay with the child and my husband will come back himself.
Mm-hmm. So why would you come back to Kiev? Do you want to tell?
We want to join our friends, and I hope they will have better plan to the moment we come. At first, we have camera, and like Christina is shooting now, we plan to shoot also. Also, if we will need to help our military and people, we need to have this chance to help. So we can give blood, we can cook food, we can do cocktails of Molotov, we can do a lot of stuff. We can help in hospital. So it depends. I think also for men it's different. Every man decide himself. But yeah, it's very important to
Yeah.
For us, it's very important to join our friends.
Christina,
Yes.
can you describe where you are and what you are doing now?
For now, I'm in the center of Kiev. I'm on Krещатик station. I went just down the metro to shoot people there. That's all, actually. Now I'm out to have a cigarette and fresh air.
And what are your plans for the next days?
Plans are changing all the time because like everything's changing. For now it's quiet, and I think we're gonna stay or all together in one flat, or I will stay in our office of our video production and sleep there, but I will not sleep alone. It's 100%. And tomorrow we'll see what we do, because like as I said, things changing.
Mm-hmm. And why are you staying in Kiev and not leaving?
My family, my mom and my grandma is in Odessa. I'm from Odessa, but I stay in Kiev because actually I want to help somehow. I think I cannot be there just sitting and doing nothing. And I think I will shoot because it's my job and it's the only thing that I can do.
Mm-hmm. And maybe last question, and then I will go to Anastasia. How did you like? What did you see from the Russian attack? Did you see anything of it, or did you were underground at that time?
Actually, what I see with my eyes, I just hear bombing. Yesterday I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning because I heard some bombing far away from my flat, but still. And then we went all together very quickly to the shelter. The shelter is metro stations in Kiev. They're like the safest places. And actually what I'm hearing from Russian army, it's all the time bombings. I hear the air signal, and everything I see in news, it's like ruined buildings, it's injured people, killed people, and that's what I can see from the internet. But here in Kiev, mostly around me people are pretty safe, but they're stressed. A lot of families with children, with dogs, with cats, and with chairs and mattresses are sleeping in metro because they are scared. And city is pretty quiet.
Mm-hmm. Anastasia, maybe would you share with us because you have a lot of friends in Ukraine and in Russia and connections, all family connections, as far as I know. So how would you describe like their situation and what are they doing in this time?
So first of all, I would like to express my solidarity to all Ukrainian people, and I'm in constant contact with my friends in Ukraine. Most of them live in Kiev, but also some of them in Kharkiv. And so my friend in Kharkiv, Maxim, he is preparing to go to the front. They are trying to organize themselves to coordinate their next actions. He's trying to bring his grandparents away and also his girlfriend to the border. And he was visiting military courses since a few months now, and is ready to go to the front and to fight, because he's like, he said he's not frightened, he's angry as hell. And he said that he wants to show his face to the Russian invader. So my friends in Kiev, I've got a lot of LGBT friends there who are extra vulnerable and frightened, and maybe like some of them, they're hiding in bomb shelters. One friend lives at a place near the house that was struck by bombs in Kiev. I think everyone has seen the video and picture footage of it. And and also some of them are staying in Kiev and some of them are trying to get away, especially the women, but also other ones. Some of my friends are on the train to Lvov right now. because 2 hours far away from Lvov, there is a small village where also male refugees can hide, because it's right now it's impossible for male refugees to leave the country, because all the men between 18 and 60 years actually have to go to army. And I've heard stories that people were like pulled out of the train, men were pulled out of the train to join the army and to fight against the Russian invader. So yeah, that's it. And some of them, they're just, they're frightened. I've seen so many stories on Instagram, for example, today, who were just like, I don't want to die. Please help me. Please donate. Please do something. We don't need just express solidarity on social media. We really need donations and you to go out and formulate your demands to like Western European politics. So yeah, that's on the Ukrainian side. And yeah, about the Russian side, I have strong interconnections with the Russian civil society, especially in Moscow, where I also lived a couple of months when I worked for Novaya Gazeta, the last independent newspaper in Russia, which is not a foreign agent so far. But yeah, many of them went out on protests. Yesterday, the largest protests have gathered in Moscow, but also in St. Petersburg, Novosibirsk, Tomsk, and many other Russian cities. I think it was about 100 Russian cities, also Tyumen. There were protests, but they had to face really brutal police violence. So almost 2,000 people in entire Russia were detained. And you can see a lot of video footage on really, really brutal police violence, even on women and older people. But there are also other forms of action in Russia. So many people express their solidarity on social media, and there's something like Tihi Piket. This means quiet demonstration. So a lot of, especially young Russians, are painting "Нет войне," this means no to war, on their clothing, on their backpacks, and everywhere in the city they're carrying around small posters of it and express the solidarity like that. And also a lot of Russian, like some Russian independent newspapers express their solidarity. For example, Novaya Gazeta published a new, their publication from today is Russia is bombing Ukraine, and they even printed their new newspaper in Ukrainian and in Russian to express this solidarity. Yeah.
What would you say, why does your friend, because people in Germany might ask, why does your friend like is going to the front line? Why he's not like fleeing? Because people here usually don't understand, maybe many people don't understand this kind of behavior. So why would you say he's going to the front line?
Yeah, I would say it has a strong interconnection with patriotism, but not that, like in Germany, patriotism is mostly connotated in a negative way, and I think it's the right thing. But in Ukraine, it's a different thing, because Ukraine is oppressed by Russia for decades and even hundreds of years. It has its own colonial struggle for independence and against Russian imperialism. So if Ukrainians don't go to the front themselves, as they can see, no one will help them, because Germany is still refusing to send weapons. We're sending helmets, 5,000 helmets, as if it might help. And yeah, so many people, they don't want to give up. They say, I will stand up for my country. And the last news I got is that even now the military courses got even more volunteers, because people don't want to stay silent and they don't want to do nothing. They want to even maybe give their lives for the sovereignty of Ukraine.
Mm-hmm. Lisa, as you are with us again, maybe you want to express why you want to like return to Kiev. I know that you said something about this, but what are your reasons like for return, and not because maybe people would say like, yeah, she should stay with her child or flee with her child to Romania. So if you want to answer.
Of course, firstly, I anyways have to make my child alive. But to be true, right now, they are bombing and terrorizing my country and my city, Kiev, and also Odessa. And I don't want to let them do this. I think we are young, we can do a lot, and they are taking our world, they're taking our life, and I don't want let them do this. I want us to win.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us maybe like what when you say that they take your lives, because how they describe it, like how the Russians describe it, you are like brotherly folks in a way, and it's only like maybe you could say, okay, for me it's not so, it doesn't matter if I live under Russian rule or Ukrainian rule, I can have my work, I can have my life. So what is the reason? Or what do you understand when you hear like words like Ruski mir, like russische Welt, Russian world? What do you understand and what are you afraid of?
First, I would say that it's one of the most words that I hate in my life, because it's a world of destroying. It's I think they're total evil. Everything, I think Putin got totally crazy, because I listened to his what he was saying, to his 1 hour speech. This person is not normal, and I'm afraid that I'm afraid that world and Europe don't understand how crazy he is, and I think he wants to destroy us, destroy our country. For me, I'm 31 years old, and my country is 30 years old. And me and my friends, we were standing on revolution on Maidan. We are not fascists. We are free people who choose what they want. Then we went to Crimea and we saw referendum. Then we worked on Donbass. So all this long way and long path that we did to build our world, it's what I call, because for me this country is my world that we built together with my friends and all people around. We were not just sitting and taking goods from the life. We were all the time acting and doing things and making movies and being active. And for me, Russian government is total evil that want to destroy us just because we are free, just because we are not like them. I think for them, for Russian government, it's a huge problem that we have our voice, because it's for them. Because they can lost if Russians will see how free Ukrainians are, they can do the same, and they can lose their power. That's why from the moment of Maidan, they wanted to destroy us, and right there, now they're doing it. But I'm afraid that world and Europe don't realize that he will not stop. He's totally crazy person, and he can start third world war. And I'm very, very, very disappointed by Europe that all their sanctions are not really like doing anything to help us. They're just sitting and watching how my country is destroyed by fucking Russian troops. Disappointment in whole world, because this world is standing not for the freedom and lives of people, but for fucking money.
Mm-hmm. Christina, what would you say like about these terms, like that people are, because there are really like they have commentators like in German or social media, but also elsewhere, they say, okay, just capitulate and say you have lost this battle. And so why do you say no to this option? What are you afraid of? Microphone, please. Turn your microphone on.
Yeah, sorry. I'm actually, yes, I'm afraid, but on the other side, I can see what the word Russian peace means, what is this to me. I can see that
to our districts, Lugansk and Donetsk, are totally destroyed by these people, because I'm going to shoot on the war for 8 years, and I saw the cities, and I saw the people, and I saw what is going on where the Russian peace come. It's like that they, how to say, this nation actually hates Ukrainians, as Lisa said, because we are free. And this, like, president, as Lisa said, he's totally crazy and evil person. But the thing is like this, that European people and American people are sitting there saying that they're like worried about us, but they don't understand that if we will fall down, he will not stop. Even if he will die, the system will continue to do this. That's why Ukrainians are standing not only for our country, we are standing for the life and peace of the whole world, really. Because it's like, how to explain, the idea of the Russian peace, it's not working anymore. And I can see in the internet that people, like young soldiers of Russia, coming here and like dying, but I don't understand for what they're dying, like because I see what they did in our districts. Like if they're fighting for this, I don't understand. Like if they're fighting, I don't think they get a lot of money for this. So I'm also very people. For no money, they're just like keep throwing them on death. Mm-hmm. And I think the Ukrainian nation will stay. We are not actually scared because we have no other way. We cannot capitulate. We just cannot capitulate after all we have on Maidan. Like we just can't.
Can you show us where you are? Can you show the camera around maybe? And can you tell us where you are if you want?
The main street of the Kiev is pretty static, and now it's pretty quiet here. Like pretty quiet outside. Although it was 5 minutes ago was running because I heard some bombing in Kiev, so we ran into this metro. It's not a lot of people here, but maybe at night they will come back. I think they're now staying in their flats and having shower and like resting. But some people are really afraid, so they're just staying in shelter for the whole day with the children, teenagers with their dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here now.
Okay. Thank you, Christina. Maybe I will ask Anastasia another question. Anastasia, so tell me, like this idea of this Russian world. When you say that that I don't know, that is propagated by Putin and his government, when you would ask your the people that you know in the Russian civil society, how would they describe the idea of this Russian world, and what does it mean, like in real life?
Yeah, I would say it's Russian imperialism that is often not even recognized by the West, because imperialism, especially in the left, the German left, was always only something that America or the West does with Africa, for example. But Russian imperialism, Russian chauvinism, it has its own long history going on for hundreds of years, and it's still going on. The problem is that, I mean, it's hard to really say how many people support Putin, because there's no freedom of speech and also independent Meinungsforschung.
Like opinion polls.
Yeah, independent opinion polls are almost not existed anymore. Levada, for example, is an opinion poll, and it says that it's approximately a half of Russians who support the war and the invasion in Ukraine. I also had a fight with my cousin today because she was answering on my post that, oh my God, the People's Republic of Donetsk and Lugansk, they are, how can you not support it? And she was like, yeah, in the West, you have so much propaganda, anti-Russian propaganda. I always thought that she's a really intelligent woman. She's well educated. And also she's not that much into politics, but I think many Russians have this Russian nationalism and Russian chauvinism. I don't know, this word exists in English also, right? Yeah, idea. So they never really critically looked back on their history, because it's also not possible. I mean, civil institutions like Memorial are getting shut down by the government. They face huge repressions. So every critical dealing with history is eliminated. So, for example, when we look back on the annexation of Crimea, Putin's popularity was really, really low. And after the annexation of Crimea, it went up high again, because I think this is what triggers and agitates like the normal people. Nationalism, it's like just simple nationalism, and people who never learned to think critically about it, they fall into this idea. I hope I expressed it understandably. And yeah, on the other side, I think there are a lot of people who still, even if it's really hard without independent media, they still learned how to think critically. But the thing is, the repressions went up so high in the last 1.5 years. So since the pandemic, for example, you're not even allowed to go out on the streets and protest, even if you're by yourself, because the government says, oh, it's the pandemic phase and stuff. But we all know it's not because of the pandemic, it's because Putin wants to oppress protests. And also, one friend of mine, a feminist activist, Daria Sirenko, she recently just got into jail for 2 weeks because of a meme, because of a critical post where she supported the smart voting strategy that was introduced by Navalny. So you see, like, there are a lot of people who, the civil Russian society, I recently had an interview in the Taz also about it. It's vivid and it's alive, but more and more, Putin tries to take their breath away. Putin tries to oppress them. So also the number of political prisoners in Russia went up really high. Right now, we have approximately 1,000 political prisoners in Russia, and I guess the number will rise even higher in the next months.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. Christina, can you hear me? If not, I would ask another. Yeah, you can hear us? Okay, because you went, your picture went away. So, Christina, maybe there was a question from somebody who's watching us who said, you seem to be in the front of a McDonald's, so you were in front of a McDonald's. Is there some kind of like daily life? Do people go to McDonald's? Are people going to work, or how is it now?
What about McDonald's and what about shops and drugstores? I think what I can speak only about what I saw by myself. Everything is closed. McDonald's is closed, like I think from the beginning of the bombing from yesterday. It's closed, I think, because they want the workers to be safe. But some of the shops, mostly it's like cigarettes, water, small like small shops, small kiosks, we call them. They're working just like even today I saw in the morning, I was about to buy cigarettes because the cigarettes is like, how to say, people buying a lot of them. So I like, it was a aerial, how to say it, the signal of air bombing, and people were still, I was shooting how the people were still staying to buy cigarettes. Like it was a big queue, and they wanted to buy cigarettes, and I also stand in this queue to buy cigarettes, and the woman was working. She was pretty scared and pretty nervous, but yes, some small shops are working. So, but not McDonald's, not, of course, not selling how to say, clothes or something like this. I think maybe maybe a little bit of a drugstore are also working, just people can buy medicine. Yeah. So, and about daily life, it's no daily life in day, because it's like only people walking slowly because they're pretty tired, I think, and scared. It's some old people maybe, or people going from shelter or to shelter. So mostly it's not like, even in center is pretty empty. Not like very few everything is very quiet, very few cars, very few people, like mostly people sitting quietly in their flats, because when I was in my house, it's like everywhere it's total emptiness and it's very quiet. I think people are sitting in flats at day or in shelters. So daily life is pretty dead now in Kiev.
And like, do you know anything about, like, for example, like this old woman, they have to sell their goods for daily life at the subway stations before the bombing, of course. Do you know something about their fate? So how these people like earn their money, or how they survive? Like the poor
So
people?
I also yesterday and actually today in the morning I also shot did some shots with like yesterday in the early morning when all this started, the old people who is selling their goods like from the villages, like tomatoes or vegetables, something like this, they were still staying and selling. And today in the morning I saw and filmed one woman who was selling flowers actually near the metro. She was still standing and selling flowers. Or I saw some women that are selling her own old things, and like, so old people still somewhere like selling something, and like they're quite slow and like, how to say, it's quite painful actually, because they, even with all their wish, they cannot like stop selling because they need to get money for their lives, and they cannot be quick. And I have a very also painful situation in metro, because like some very old woman was standing on the way of people on the stairs, because people were running from they heard the bombing, and she was trying to put her eyeglasses in her little bag, and she was really slow, and I helped her, and like it's like this.
Mm-hmm. And sorry, I'm a little bit, I have a little bit like, okay, but tell me, what in this situation that you are now, like, what would you demand from Western countries? Do you have anything to tell in that direction?
What I personally want to tell, and what I actually telling my friends from other countries, I don't have a lot of friends in Russia, but I have friends from all over the world. And when they're asking how am I and how's my family, I'm asking them to help our army and our medical volunteers, and to put money in our defense, because like our army is protecting us and protecting the whole world from this fucking bloody Putin. And for me, I don't need any help. I don't need any help.
So the picture and the connection has stopped. Maybe it's not so easy to do this in the metro. Krieg, can you still hear me? If I can't, then I would talk to Lisa, because Lisa is back. Lisa, maybe just without too much talk, what would you demand from the so-called West now, from the Western states, from the EU? We use the connection that you have now, so talk, please.
To be true, I wait the most hard sanctions that they can imagine. They have to block Russia in everything. Also, to be true, I hope that NATO will save our air space, because Russians are bombing all the cities all the time. We need help now to stay, because our military is very right now doing very well, and people also a lot of people took weapons, and a lot of people organized in territoriальной обороны in every city, and people are great. I love Ukrainians. They're brave and great people, but we need help in everything that Europe can, and I really hope that NATO can close our airspace to stop bombing, because if they stop bombing, then we have chance to win.
And do like the three of you, like who maybe asked the question, do you know how the like majority of the people feel? Are the majority eager to fight, or are the majority try to leave, or is it hard to tell? I don't know who wants to answer. Maybe Christina, we can start with you, and then Lisa, and then
Actually, what I see of my friends, like we are mostly of my friends are like artistic people, like making movies, making documentary movies, or theater. Mostly all of them want to fight in the way they can. As I said, for me, I'm a cinematographer. I can shoot, I can show what is going on, and all my friends want to do something, maybe for the army, maybe to help, like maybe medical volunteering, as Lisa said. And this is like mostly all of my friends want to do this. Nobody want to run away, because for me, I understood, because my friends, I was speaking to my friends who are on Bali, like having a rest, and I understand, like I was thinking, okay, I'm so afraid of bombing. Maybe I will go there, and I understand that I cannot stay there while this happening with my country and with my friends and with my family. So like mostly me and mostly of my friends are staying here to help. And people in Kiev, I don't know, some of them are pretty calm and like, I don't know, they're not afraid. They're just waiting here because it's their house. And a lot of people, like I can see in the news, and my friends see it with their eyes, a lot of people are going to territorial defense, and they want to fight, they want to take their weapons if they can. Like our government is giving weapons to the people who know how to shoot. People want to shoot. It's like craziness is happening near territorial defense, and near, like, a lot of people want to give blood to our soldiers, to our heroes, which was injured by the Russian army. So like I think mostly all of the people want to help somehow. In my, like, what I can see with my eyes.
And what do you think, Lisa? What do you think? What the majority of the people like want that you see?
Right now I'm on the road, saving my child, and I can see cars on the road. So a lot of people are moving to the west of Ukraine. But me and Christina have the same friends, and my family stayed in Odessa. My parents planning to go to also territorial defense. My brother is already helping territorial defense in Odessa. They're organizing food, they're collecting money. Another two of my friends went to it already. Like almost everybody who is around is acting. And but you have to understand that me and Christina live in a kind of bubble of very active people. So there are, of course, people that are afraid, and or they have old relatives, or they have small children. But if you speak about mood of the people, I would say that it's the same wave of mood how it was on Maidan during revolution, when people are ready to help each other and to be together till the end.
And are you angry about the people who leave?
No, I think that people have to save their lives and to save their, like, if you have a child. I'm living right now to the west of Ukraine, so I'm one of the people who live. I don't know, so maybe ask Christina better if she's angry on me.
No, I'm totally not angry at Lisa, and I love her very much, and I love the people, and I love when they're alive, and their children and their old relatives are alive. So people have to have choice, of course. Like, even if they don't have children and they want to go away and live a calm life, even alone or with their couple, it's like totally okay. If they feel okay, if they feel safe, and they can make, like, they can just live calm life there in Europe or in America, it's wonderful. We are just this kind of people who cannot stay somewhere.
So the metro is working, yeah? Okay. Anastasia, what would you say? Like the majority of the people? It's like a big word, majority, but what is what you see or hear from the people? Like, is the friend that you know, the friend who wants to fight, like the majority of the people that you know, or try most of them to go away, to flee? What do you think? Microphone, please.
Excuse me. So yeah, I think it's really hard to speak about the majority, especially because I don't live there and I don't know that many people in Ukraine. But I mean, I'm also connected with a lot of left-wing activists who even prepared for like months for this situation and who are not surprised. So for example, Maxim from Kharkov, he also told me a few weeks before, because I was making an interview with him, he was saying that I know the war will come, I just don't know when it will come. And in the night when the war began, he texted me, yeah, this is what I told you. I didn't expect it to be that cruel and that evil, without any chance to prepare. And with this amount of propaganda, but he was actually prepared, and he said that his friends, they are really, they were even waiting for this situation. But for example, my friends from Kiev, they're more like from the rave scene, and they, I would say, sure, they are interested in politics, but they're not in that activist context, and they're in the LGBT scene also, and yeah, they're just trying to save their lives right now because they're frightened and extremely vulnerable, and yeah, I can totally understand it. I don't know what I would do if I was there right now. Yeah, so, and also I think to make it easier to understand why people are going to the front and are ready to give their lives, because everything else would be a capitulation to Putin. Because Putin, even he held a new speech where he was asking the Ukrainian military to give up, and he was like, yeah, everyone who will be a deserter, what is it? Deserter, yes. He was like, yeah, everyone who will desert can return to his family without sanctions. And you have to fight against your fascist, even if Zelensky is a Jew with like Holocaust background and whose grandpa was fighting in the Red Army. Putin's calling him a fascist. This is so crazy. But yeah. So Putin is saying that the Ukrainian military has to revolt against the Ukrainian government because it's a fascist government of drug abusers. This is what he said today. This man gone completely crazy. So I think this even more persuades Ukrainians to go to the front and to fight this propaganda narrative.
Mm-hmm. And tell me, Anastasia, because you said it like twice, you know a lot of people from the LGBT movement. And to be honest, even in this situation, I don't want to romanticize like Ukraine. It's a safe haven, I know, for LGBT people, but it's like not perfect. We know that the pride has to be like heavily secured by police because there are like adversaries of free LGBT people. And in like, especially in the countryside, it was like that the police does not often punish people who violates the rights of LGBT people. So it's
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm just going out of the metro. I just urgent situation. I'm stopping like conversation because they bombing Kiev, they bombing the electrical station. So now we're gonna run because they bombing. We hear bombing. So
where do you go?
We're going to the office now, and yeah, because now it's really dangerous situation in Kiev.
Okay.
So see you.
Safe.
Thank you.
Be safe, Christine.
Thank you very much.
Be safe.
Bye bye.
Bye.
As I said, I don't want to romanticize this, but as far as I also know from my friends, the LGBT scene is more afraid of Russia than there was ever of Ukraine. Like, why? Maybe you can explain.
Yeah, definitely. For example, in Ukraine, especially in Kiev, there are also a lot of Russian LGBT refugees who went away from Russia because of the hardcore repressions against the LGBT community, especially in Chechnya. Like I also know some or I have contact to some refugees from Chechnya, because in Chechnya in Russia, LGBT people are persecuted. They're was heißt nochmal gefoltert?
Tortured.
Tortured. Yeah, they're tortured and are thrown into prisons and are persecuted by the state. And there are even conversion therapies. So there are like clinics. Kliniken? Yeah. Sorry.
Hospitals, clinics. I think the word exists.
Yeah, exactly. With conversion therapies, and because homosexualism is not accepted in the society, especially like on the countryside or in Chechnya, even poor families are paying thousands of dollars for these conversion therapies. And there are a lot of heartbreaking stories of how people try to flee from these clinic, from these therapies, and who have to bring who have to stay there like for years, even at the age of a teenager. So Chechnya is considered one of the most dangerous part, I think, even in the world for LGBT people, and also especially since the protests in Belarus in summer 2020. I mean, every one of us knows how hard the repressions are since then, and also Belarus is not safe for anyone, but also especially for LGBT people, because also Lukashenko is a really homophobic dictator. So many people made their way to Kiev, and where a lot of like gay bars and, for example, techno clubs like K41, Kirillitsa 41, to name one, the most famous one of it, where people gather and create safe spaces. Like, it's not like here. For sure, in Germany, also a lot of the LGBT scene are gathering in techno clubs, but there it's something different, because they're not safe in the rest of the country. I would say Kiev is more tolerant than the rest of Ukraine. In Kharkiv, there's also Kharkiv Pride, for example, and yeah. So I guess this is why Ukraine is more popular among Russian-speaking people from post-Soviet countries. And right now, I think Vice even published a list, or Vice published an article telling about a list that like the Russian government created with the names of prominent LGBT activists in Ukraine who have to be killed when Russia invades. So this is rising the danger for their lives even more. So I have one contact, Erik Judike, who is also organized, who's an LGBT activist, and especially dealing with LGBT activism in post-Soviet countries. And he's also in contact with a lot of organizations who are organizing flights and accommodation for LGBT refugees. What is making the situation even harder right now is that men, no matter what their sexual orientation is, of course, are not allowed to leave the country. And this is like, I can't even imagine how the people must feel right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so what they are doing? They are hiding somewhere, or what do they do? Of course, we don't want to like give their locations or something like that, but maybe in general you can describe their situation.
Yeah, so the friends of mine who are in Kiev, they were hiding all the time in the bomb shelter. When another friend of mine, Sergei, he was texting me and told me, yeah, I'm just getting drunk in my apartment because I can't handle the situation. And then the explosion was near his house, and he ran into a bomb shelter. So he's still there. Another guy, Mitya, he left to a small village where his grandparents live, and is hiding there. Other friends of mine, they were in the bomb shelter the last 2 days, and now I mean, the post-Ost community, the post-Soviet community here in Germany, they're also organizing Fluchtrouten, refuge paths. Mm-hmm. And projects. So I'm in touch with all of them, and many people who are in this post-Soviet group diaspora in Germany. They are trying to keep contact with the most vulnerable people in Ukraine, and to care for accommodation and for possibilities to exit the country. So, for example, I texted a friend of mine who was sitting in the bomb shelter. Hey, I just got the message that you can go on the train to Lvov and then drive 2 hours 2 hours further to a small village where also male refugees can hide who can't cross the border. Yeah, exactly. So the situation is like that at the moment. And also I would like to add, so in Berlin, for example, there's also a huge Ukrainian diaspora, but also other actors or other activists from the post-Soviet community, like, for example, Belarusians, Georgians, and also Russians. They are building collectives, and they are going to demonstrations together. They're organizing demands and demonstrations, and are creating also platforms where maybe we can share the links after, where to donate, for example, and how to communicate with the people, how to maybe give psychological advice and support, and also how to like what kind of possibilities to flee the country there are left. Yeah, sorry for my English.
No.
I didn't sleep, almost didn't sleep the last 2 days because I was following the news all the time. And I managed to sleep 2 hours today, but yeah, most of the time I'm just crying, taking care of my friends, blogging online on my Twitter and Instagram account, and also on Zeit Online live blog about the news. And yeah, it's a really hard situation for all, but I mean, I can't even imagine how hard it must be for people who are like directly affected by the Russian aggression and invasion. Yeah.
So, there's Lisa again. So maybe we have like 8 minutes left. Lisa, maybe can you tell us? There is this like how to say? There is maybe like 2 options that we see now, or maybe 3 options. Of course, there is this option like Russia will be beaten. Then there is this option of this so-called neutrality that Putin offered, and then there is this option of occupation. So under which circumstances would you stay in Ukraine? Would you stay in this neutrality like Ukraine when the Russians like will get what they want, what they say, like, okay, they have a puppet government, and then this neutrality stuff, or would you stay under occupation? What do you think?
I would not stay in Ukraine under occupation of Russia. And my family would not, and all my friends would not. The only way, when I will leave Ukraine, if it will be under occupation of Russia. About the neutrality, it depends on how it will go further. Now it's hard to say because I don't understand what we have to pay to stop this, and for now nobody is ready for this. So everybody is more about fighting than about giving Russia what they want, because I think we know Russia better than Europe does, because we are much closer and having all the time we have to all the time deal with them, and that's why we know that they never stop. They will not eat only finger, they will eat all your hand, like, and bite your bite off your head. I mean, they are it's not the people that you can trust or you can make a deal.
Is it about the people or about the government?
It's about government. It's about government. To be true, I'm for quite a long time, I'm not connected anymore for Russian people. I have relatives there. We speak sometime, but we are from different planets.
What do you mean with different planets?
I mean that in our country we have a voice, we can vote on normal elections, we have громадянське суспільство. How to translate this?
Yes. Anastasia, what would you say?
Can you repeat it, please?
Громадянське суспільство.
I have no idea.
Maybe some kind...
Гражданское общество.
Civil society. I just don't speak Ukrainian, sorry.
Civil society, we are very, very different people. So it's what I mean. They can't imagine even to go on demonstrations, and we can't imagine that they just let their government kill us and not to go to demonstrations. I don't know. Very hard to explain, but we are very different.
Mm-hmm. And would you say, like, I see you, Anastasia, but would you say that because when I met you first time, you say you don't hate Russians, even also after Maidan or after Donbass, and would you say this changed, that your feelings changed in that way?
I hate Russian, how you say this, Russian world. I hate it so much. I think it's a world of death and blood. Mm-hmm. I wanted to disappear from this world. It makes it big, terrible, something terrible from this world. I don't know. Sorry, I can't find normal words to explain my feelings.
Mm-hmm. And the people?
I don't know them. I know that a lot of them are okay with what is going on. Mm-hmm. I don't think with this kind of people I can never even speak to other people that are just weak and don't have any voice. I don't know. I don't hate them, but I think they are соучастники. How to translate this word?
Collaborating.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are silent now in Russia are collaborating the government that are killing us. I think so.
Mm-hmm. Anastasia?
Yeah, if I might add something to this, I can totally understand it, and I think I mean, I'm not even Ukrainian, and I feel the same way. I feel this in a similar way. I think the only thing that can really destroy this imperialist Russian world and this historical revisionism of Putin is a revolution in Russia, because we only can live if the Putin system disappears. And right now it doesn't look like there will be a revolution at all, because people are too frightened, and also many of them are just indifferent. Indifference comes from the lack of political participation, because people never had democracy in Russia, and they never learned what it is like to have a freedom of speech, a freedom of opinion, and to change something with their actions. So many people are just indifferent, and I really, really hope that a fucking war will change this indifference.
Okay. I think we have reached like our time, so this hour. Christina went away. She's going to a bomb shelter now, to another one, because there was an attack on Kiev. Another one.
It was 5 attacks just in a few minutes.
You saw it in the internet, or how do you?
Yes, I saw Klitschko's speech. It was 5 attacks on Troyeshina to the electrical stations. I think they tried to destroy they want the city to be without electricity.
Mm-hmm. Lisa, do you want to say some last words? I would give the last words to you if you want.
You asked me a few times why I want to come back, and why. Slav, it's because, to be true, I love this country. I love these people so much. You can't imagine how brave and powerful they are. If I imagine that any country would face such an enemy as Russia, that you probably imagine that they will be afraid, and they will run away, and military will not fight. But I really impressed by how powerful our people in their hearts are. That's why I want to be here. That's why I don't want to leave, because we together built this for all these years, and we can't just lose our world because of crazy monster in Kiev.
Okay, thank you for this. To be honest, maybe for the audience, Lisa and me, we are friends. I'm very calm here now, but I'm acting like this. It's hard to say. I try to be professional. So that's why I'm acting like if I'm neutral. But the point is, it's my friends who are in danger there. Let me say this maybe in the last seconds of this talk. I really wish Germany would find some strength in itself and its politicians also, and do something that could also harm us in some ways. I don't talk about weapons or something like that. I talk about like economical stuff, but like real, like really doing something. People, please. Because my friends will die there maybe. And I don't like this perspective, to be very honest with you. So, Lisa, please be safe for this night at least. And we will talk on other channels. Anastasia, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you also. Slava Ukraini.
And and yeah, so I would say let's go out of this talk. Stay safe this night. Also the audience.
Stay safe.
Stay safe, people. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.